Of course, it's not just birds that migrate, some fish do as well, particularly eels. And after many years of decline, this year has been a bumper year for eels, particularly elvers. It's the elvers. They've arrived here in their millions. In the River Severn alone, they had over 100 million elvers arriving. Now, they're coming into our freshwater rivers, and they'll stay there for many years maturing. And it's when those mature eels start to make the reverse journey back down to the sea that they can get into trouble. I went out to find out more.
Every autumn, many of our eels set off on an incredible journey. They will attempt to swim over 3,000 miles to the other side of the Atlantic to mate and spawn. It's an epic migration. But before they even get to the sea, they have a whole host of man-made problems to overcome. Weirs, dams and turbines now block a third of British waterways, killing, it's estimated, nearly 40% of migrating eels. Fortunately, help is at hand. Dr. Adam Piper from the University of Southampton is testing some surprising ways of helping eels past these dangers and out to sea. But first, he needs to catch some.
We're just coming up to peak silver eel migration times.
And what stimulates them to actually go?
We don't really know. It's likely to be that dropping in temperature, and you get it on sort of rainy nights when the levels pick up, when the flow picks up, and the combination of all these things cause this migration queue, and they all start migrating downstream.
You so rarely see them. I mean, you're seeing them all the time because you're researching them, but for me, it's been years since I've seen an eel.
Yes.
Eels undergo a series of extraordinary physical changes as they mature. Only when they transform into full-size silver eels are they ready to travel down our rivers and out to sea. The larger eel is nearly half a metre long, and it looks like a female silver.
Adam, can we have a closer look at her? Can maybe pick her up in the net?
Yes, certainly.
Fascinating. Well, lovely colour, actually, now I can see.
Yes, you can see it much
Beautiful.
better like that, the silvery belly.
Look at that. So it's not just the colour, Adam. I mean, all sorts of other things are going on inside the eel's body, are they now?
There's all sorts of morphological changes. The eye becomes a lot bigger, the pectoral fin and the silvery colour on the outside. But then internally there's all sorts of changes to prepare them for the osmoregulatory change of going from freshwater to saltwater.
Which is a massive change,
Indeed.
isn't it? I mean, she might be, what, 10 years old?
Yes,
Older,
I mean,
maybe?
yeah, there's a huge amount of variation in when they migrate, and again, another one of those questions we don't know nearly enough about, but it might be migrating as early as sort of 4 to 5 years after being in the river, but also they've found eels sort of 20 years and even up to 40 years old.
40 years?
Indeed, the oldest ones, yes.
Adam is tagging the silvers so he can assess how they react to obstacles as they swim downstream. The tags give a remarkably detailed picture of the eel's behaviour.
Look at that. Oh, doesn't like it at all.
It's come to the very fast flows, and it's rejected and gone back upstream.
Adam's found that when he increases the speed of the water flow around a hazard, the eel turns around and goes back upstream. He hopes to use this research to guide eels away from danger and follow safer routes out to sea. But he's not just looking at water flow.
This autumn we're looking at infrasound, which is very low frequency sound.
So it's being shouted at.
Yes,
This way!
It's more of a vibration.
Oh, is
than
it?
an
Okay,
audible
I can pick that up.
Yes.
Anything else?
Hopefully in the future we'll look at all sorts of things, including possibly strobe lights, more manipulation of hydraulics. We'll see how we go.
If Adam can deploy effective deterrents at danger spots across the country, it will give our silver eels a fighting chance.
They're very, very lucky to have a champion like you.
And one of the silver eels is luckier still. I'm going to give it a head start by releasing it past the final barrier on its way to the sea.
Well, the time has come to send this eel on its way. and Adam always releases them in the evening so that it can migrate under the cover of darkness. What a shame we can't go with it. Good luck. Such fascinating creatures, eels, absolutely fascinating, and there are still many mysteries about their life cycle. Let's have a look at what people know so far. Okay, so the eels will leave the UK and they will all go down across the Atlantic and out to the Sargasso Sea, and here they mix around. These are the adult eels, and they will mate and breed, lay eggs, and then the little elvers, tiny little things, will make their way all the way back, drifting on ocean currents back to Europe and repopulate our rivers. But still, people aren't quite sure what happens there in the Sargasso Sea.
Epic.
Epic journey.
Migration.
3,000.
Yeah.
Not sure why they're declining as well. Since 1983, there's been a 90% decline. We think some of this is down to obstructions in the waterway. In those rivers in the UK, we think there are more than 2,500 obstructions, which could stop those eels. So that work you were covering could be really important.
Adam's doing good work.
Stay tuned for Unsprung as well. Coming up at the end of this on Red Button, we've got live